welcome our host for tonight, Mr. Manish Porwal, MD, Clay and Alchemist India.
Thank you, Farhan. Thank you so much. And hello and welcome to the third episode of Clay Dialogues, ladies and gentlemen, presented by Alchemist Marketing Solutions and its real estate division, Clay. I'm Manish Porwal, the Managing Director of Alchemist, and I'm also the host for this e-talk show, where we have a teet-a-teet with the titans of the real estate industry. We usually know our corporate top shots either firsthand or the way their company and media projects them, don't we? Usually it's in black or white. They become heroes or villains for us, like celebrities do for the larger world. What we do at Clay Dialogues is explore the gray of these people and their world. We get to know them a little more than just their projection their companies want to give, and also the industry that it takes. It's interesting and revealing. So please, ladies and gentlemen, give to us an hour or so today and each Saturday at 4 p.m. and we'll be able to get to hear stories and answers from these icons that otherwise on their busy days they wouldn't have been able to give. If you happen to miss the episode for a few times, starting even today, you can watch the archive on the Facebook page. But we would recommend live watching as there's nothing close to that. Adding to the live experience is the questions you can ask the guests in the chat box below. And if we like them, we will ask them. And if the guests like them enough, they will answer them. Fair deal, I guess. For now, allow us to introduce you to the man of the moment, Boman Rustomjee Irani. For the second time in a row, we have somebody who shares his name with a film star and is a first generation entrepreneur in the industry who runs one of the most known and respected real estate companies in Mumbai. His middle name of sorts is Thoughtful. He seems to have a picture perfect world. At 51, he can give a few cine heroes or cine stars a run for their money. His projects are great. His team is amazing. His wife is an actor by herself, and his kids look like they have the best of both worlds. So let's play the video, please. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, presenting to you, and Boman, please come on screen, the most good-looking and a thoughtful man in the industry, Boman Irani, Chairman and MD at Rustomjee. Boman, welcome to the show. Are you there?
With an introduction like that, I'm just checking whether I'm blushing.
You blush and you look even more charming, and it's not great coming from a man on the other side, but I'm sure all the women are saying the same. Boman, thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely my pleasure, and you're a very persuasive person, Manish.
I am, I'm told. And thank you for saying that again. Thank you very much. But I'm glad to have you here in episode 3. And Boman, I know that you have a very, very restricted time schedule today. You have to run for a meeting. So I'm not going to take very long to come straight to the point. But I'll quickly introduce the kind of, this dialogue to you. We'll have 5 sections, Boman, in this one, if you allow us to complete those 5 in the given time. And the first section of all those 5 is about shop talk, which is basically all about work. So let's get the boring piece out first, shall we?
Sure.
Okay, boom. But how do you comprehend today's time for your company and the industry? And I don't know how you look at it, but I do know that these are difficult times for a lot of us. And I wanted to know what your view is in this part.
So, Manish, people would be lying if they told you that they aren't shitting bricks, right? They're not scared. These are uncertain times, something that in our living memory, we or our people around us have never experienced.
Right.
It's about life, right? It's about your basic survival in terms of really survival. So what happens if you caught it? What happens if your family gets afflicted, etc., etc. That should be the most worrisome thing on our minds.
Agreed.
Beyond that, of course, there's business, and business is all about sentiment. And real estate is even more about sentiment than anything else, because it's probably the biggest purchase a person makes in their entire life. I think going forward, there's going to be a respect of sorts for good homes in terms of what it is that we bring to the table other than just four walls. It was moving towards that, but now more than ever, the change has been like this, right? The penny dropped and everything changed. With this work from home concept, people have started appreciating the smaller or the finer things about their homes. I can tell you this, I myself have explored my home, actually experienced and explored it very well in the last, 65, 75 days that we've been. I've stopped counting how many days we've been home.
90 now, I guess more than 100.
Yeah. So, well, I think going forward, people are going to be more, how do I say this, concerned or be more aware of what they want to, invest in, whether it is their time, whether it's their energy. People have realized, the frivolity of just hanging out rather than being with close, people. Whether it's your relatives, whether it's your real friends, whether it's just your family. I can tell you the desire to do a lot has gone. So you stop spreading yourself out like this. And the desire to do more, that is to go deeper into what you do, has definitely come into people. I'm sure, Manish, you would have realized the changes even in yourself. You want to be where there is a value add either by you or to you, right? And when you look at all of this, I cannot imagine that it's actually going to be all bad. I think it's probably you needed the slap to get, going to the direction that you should have in a long, long while. And I'm a firm believer that value, those of us that provide value will continue to have a much better future than those who got into all kinds of businesses for the wrong reasons. So the long-term perspective towards achieving or fulfilling a goal is where I see rewards coming in the future. If I may, just say that, because I think, there'll be a lot more to answer as we go along.
So, Boman, is it fair to say that probably you're indicating that there's a shake-up and a clear one at that?
So yeah, look at the way you think nowadays, right? We had this little conversation, and you were concerned about even the people that you would allow into your bubble, your social bubble. You want to trust people. You want to trust their sense of choice. You want to trust their ability to take care of themselves so that they don't cause you harm knowingly or unknowingly. Manish, I think shake up or not, it's definitely a more, how do I say this, responsible world we will all enter into. So far we used to be concerned, what is the single most important, I would say, valuable asset in your life, right? 99% of us would say our families, and then of course our close friends and whatever. Today, you're not only going to think about what it is your family, your kids do in terms of what bus they take to go to school or whatever, but you're going to worry a little more and be a little more concerned and create the right kind of environment for them. So this shake up, I don't know, for the lack of a better word, shake up or not, a more responsible world is what people are going to experience, and people are going to appreciate, and people are going to, benefit from.
Let me go a little closer down to your company in particular. I'm sure winds of change either were witnessed or will be witnessed or are being as we speak. We also know that you are more inclined to make places which are in the luxury segment, if I may put it in a traditional sense. And I do believe that that's the segment which is affected the most. Do you agree? Do you concur? Or do you think differently? And if it is the same, then what are you doing about it?
So luxury is a mindset, isn't it?
Sure.
Whether Rustomjee is developing a one-bedroom hall kitchen in Virar, or it is doing a 5-bedroom hall kitchen in Prabhadevi. Our mindset is all about luxury at all levels. I'll take you back 25, 30 years before the Maruti came into play. There were big cars, they were boxy. The Maruti came out with a smaller car, but it gave it the luxury that comes with, let's say, the comfort of being able to drive easy, the fact that your seats were, well tailored, your air conditioner was fitted in and worked, you had a radio or at that point of time a cassette player which you could enjoy music in. So luxury is a mindset. You should want to build the feel of making life better for the people that you work for, right? Like, just to repeat the words of our father of our nation, your customer is the one who brings you or pays you your income, right? You always think for the customer. You have to make sure your mindset is towards bettering his life. But to answer your question quite simply, I think value build is more important than just the thought about building luxury or building affordable homes. And you'd be surprised, Manish. We built more affordable homes than we built luxury homes.
Really?
So whether you consider Virar, where we are developing a 217-acre township in which we've already handed over more than 10,000 apartments, or you think of Thane, where we built already about 4,000 apartments. I'm just saying in various parts of the value chain there, the affordable, compared to, well, not more than maybe 2,000 apartments in all of the luxury that we've done. So yes, we do build more in terms of the number of affordable homes, but we create a kind of a value out there, and then we enhance that value even more when we are giving our luxury homes to, our incoming customers. And I hope they appreciate all that finer little things that we do for them. And of course, there are testaments from a lot of them that say that they really like the idea of what Rustomjee does and how Rustomjee does it. And I should say this, and we should record it for posterity. It is our team that does it all. We're just there as beacons to guide. If at all, we feel that there is a shorter term vision rather than a longer term view. But I can say this, at Rustomjee, we have the finest of the finest. And yes, we do lose a few of them, or a few of them do move on for future growth. And you can ask any of them. The only line I tell them is, keep burning the Rustomjee torch really brightly. You're coming from here, and that's why you're going to where you're going. I want to see you more successful, but I definitely want you to carry the badge, the Rustomjee badge, with you for life. And that's how we look at our company.
Boman, actually, you moved on effortlessly into something which I would have asked you later. But I'm going to definitely ask you one question right now, given that you say that you're also in affordable space. So what should be the attraction point for somebody like you in the next 2 odd years? Is it affordable? Is it luxury? Is it semi-premium? What is the place where somebody would be safest? I want to know your opinion.
Yeah, so very simple. See, when you have 6 crore homes as data that is recognized by the government of this country for the shortage of homes in this country, I think anything you do is going to do well. Right. Provided your timing is right? And you know who you're building for. I've seen everywhere a herd mentality, right? People just go out there and do what everybody else is doing in the hope that they make, incremental changes and then get a little better or a little more than what their predecessor has. I want to tell you, way back in the year 2002, I think, or 2001, when everybody was building commercial on Andheri Kurla Road, we actually decided to do residential out there. And we said, look, everybody's doing commercial. There's going to be a need for a walk to work kind of a concept then, and we'll just do residential. And nobody could understand why we did it. But we said, hey, this is what the need of the market is. Why would I just follow the herd? Why would I just do, what everybody else is doing? But to answer your question again, in a way that you'd like it, prescriptive, I think if you build affordable homes and you build them well, it might take you longer to build, value to your company or money to yourself, but you'd have a never-ending pipeline of customers who want to come in to buy, a never-ending one. At least in our lifetime, I don't see that going down. And I keep saying this to all my developer fraternity, if we work 24/7, right, without taking a break for the next 10 years, I don't think we can meet the demand that there is. It is that great. And is there a demand for luxury? Of course, if you're the best, you will get recognized for what you do. Can we build as many luxury apartments as we do affordable? I think that's not the requirement, right?
Mhm.
So when we got into this business, Manish, we had a statement we made to ourselves, right? We said we want to be across the rainbow, and there was a reason for that. We wanted to learn luxury from this end of the rainbow and bring it in terms of value to those who bought at the lowest end of the price segment. And the speed, the ability to kind of just construct as fast, to be able to deal with customers, more customers, and give them the right kind of feeling is what we brought to the upper end of the segment. And it worked beautifully for us.
As Boman, you set the tone right in the beginning. Probably we're going deeper into this, which is great because then I get to ask you less questions, but at least go deep down into those answers. I have a question here, which is different from what I've asked so far. Boman, real estate is driven a lot by family businesses, right? A lot of them. One person develops the business, and the whole family kind of gets in, whoever is interested. Now, you have a business where your family or family members have also come in, right? How does it work for you? How do you manage a typical business conflict away from family? So there are people who work with you, let's say from the family, and how do you manage that? And what advice would you give to others who face the same problem because they have to go back home with them?
I think the seed of any conflict is miscommunication, right? I would like to believe that not only in family but even in friends, you do not mean harm knowingly to your friends. Just depends on the various stages of life where you are, that people tend to interpret more than they hear or misunderstand what they've seen. I think as the leader of the family, one needs to step back. One needs to be a little more understanding. One needs to be a little more, I don't know, just calmer, accepting. Because like I said, if my belief is that you don't want to do me any harm, I mean, I've got to analyze why you said what you said. I've got to understand where your pain is. I've got to kind of solve it for you because that's my job. That is why I'm in the position I am in.
But will you
Otherwise,
treat
I
your
could be.
family member any different while in a business conflict than others who are probably professional and have come from different places?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. Were you asking?
In a conflict or in a place where you want to correct something, would you treat a family member differently from a professional who would have come from the outer space?
I think everyone who works at Rustomjee is family, if you ask me. Everyone who works with us, even across in terms of, I like to build relationships, Manish. That's all I'm about, right?
I've
And
heard.
I like to keep these relationships. And I won't say that I haven't lost any. I've lost plenty, but I've kept more than I have lost. And that gives me happiness. Sometime, in your circle of life, you do make mistakes. You just pay the price and you move on. I think if you're ready to take that kind of mindset, Manish, and if you're not one of those who's testosterone driven and just wants to, why do I have to prove I'm right at all? Right? As long as what gets done is right. If I could influence you to do what is right, I'd much rather not be the one standing on top of the roof and saying, hey, this is the right and follow it this way. I don't need to, I feel, prove my point or prove myself to anybody, right? I fortunately never had that.
At this stage, I'm showing you something which is a video, and of course the audience as well, which has come from somebody who's your colleague and your family put together. So here it is.
So Boman to me is my elder brother, a true leader, someone who I look up to. I think since early childhood, he's gone through multiple cycles of life. His experiences in life have been unbelievable. I've been part of his journey. So I think the way he handles his problem is unique. He's a man who always comes up with a solution. So when you give him a problem, there's a solution that he'll surely offer. He takes right decisions at the right time. So that's what makes him really special. He extremely high on energy. I think he can work for 18 to 24 hours. Someone who never gets tired. At least you always see this man with full energy. Constantly inspires his team members, his family. Um, I think it's fun to be around with him. The kind of energy he has, it's just fun to be around with him. Um, Leads by empathy. So I think anything that you look for in a leader, yeah, there are areas that he needs to work on, but I think they are far less as compared to his areas of strength. So it's fun to be around him, and wish you all the very best, bro. God bless.
Best, bro, and you are energetic.
Percy is just too sweet. Yeah. You can ask any of our friends amongst us too, who's the sweeter brother. They'll tell you Percy is.
That's quite nice. Mutual respect and admiration. And my last question for this section, because I know I'll run out of time otherwise, and I know you have to run. You know what, Boman? Parsi values are often stereotyped to be very perfection driven, right? I mean, if I have to buy a car, a second-hand one, I'll buy it from a Parsi is my stereotype. Do you do some of them in the business, and or have you taken advantage of some of them while marketing yourself?
So I want to tell you something, right? I was a very young kid when I got into real estate, and we started building this building, which was 10 floors and stuff, in a place called Daisar. And we had this entire bunch of Gujarati, Maharashtrian, Marwadi buyers who came in over there. And Manish, I can tell you this, that they had no problem putting their money on the table with me. And I used to be quite surprised, because how do you trust someone who's just come out of nowhere, is sitting in front of you and saying, hey, you know what, this is a brochure, I'm going to make a building out here. And those times, don't forget, most people were getting a raw deal, right? But still these guys came and put up money. And you know, we had done something very funny. We had said, chairman to watchman, you won't get a change in the rate. That was the first time in the business, and all the brokers advised us against it. But the point I'm trying to make, Manish, is that people actually said, they just said, you know, you're a Parsi, we can trust you. And I don't think it's about so much about Parsi. It's not about me. It's about what people ahead of me would have done. So I went for 2 or 3 of these, you know, motivational sessions to youngsters, etc. I make it a business to try and, you know, share my experiences with the younger kids. And I tell all of them, and if they are all Parsis in the group, I tell them, I don't care if you achieve anything in life. Don't achieve anything. Just go through life like a plain Jane. But please don't screw up. Please don't do anything that would kind of sully an image which you have never bothered to make, right? It's not your work. You're a benefactor of it. Just let it be. It's beautiful. It's monumental. It's strong. People love you. Just be loved, right? And just go through life that way. But you screw up. You kind of, you know, defame us. I mean, I'll personally want to take it up against you. And what is Parsi values, right? What are Parsi values? Anyone, I have a friend of mine who keeps on telling me, he says, you're Parsi by birth, I'm Parsi by work. And you know what I believe in? He does exactly what is the right thing to do. Never in his mind has he thought short. Never in his mind has he thought he wants to take from somebody else. He's always open to kind of, you know, understanding, learning, doing the best that he can, and being righteous in what he does. I think these are values that all of us should have. Why only Parsis? Why only any one community? I mean, let everybody be the same.
Completely get that. Raman, there's so much to talk in this section, but I guess I have to move on because you're not giving me any extra time, which is fine. So we move on to section 2 of our talk today, which is about you. And when I say you, it was not about you earlier, but it was more like you as a boss, you as a leader, but now you as a person. Now, Boman, I must tell you that all men in this room, this virtual room, are honestly in some way a little jealous of you. I mean, you look magnificent, you talk well, you have that charm, you have that aura wherever you go. And I've seen that in various, fora that you go to. How do you live with that? I mean, it's surprising that you didn't become a film star. Does it come in your way or does it help you in your business? Come on, be truthful on this one.
So what helps me more than anything else is Boman Irani. Okay, I get upgraded at hotels. He says this whenever he talks anywhere and I'm in the room. He says this guy gets the benefit of my name. He says he's the better looking one. He's the one with a lot more success, and he says it. And I'm very happy to bask in that glory, right? Like I said, why do I have to prove anything to anybody? As long as it's the good life, you get upgraded, you get a cake on arrival. Of course, it comes with the wrong pictures. The manager, the floor manager, everybody come and apologize profusely. But hey, I just love it. I just say, don't worry. I mean, every time let's make the same mistake. So, Manish, I think it's, some things you just are lucky to have. And I would say that in life, it's not only what you do, it's also where you were born. I think everybody works as hard, but some of us make it to a certain point. And I read one saying, when you have more, don't build higher walls, build bigger tables, and, invite people more to share. And I firmly believe that. I mean, I believe that if you keep your channel open, and there's a nice long story, but that's another day. If you keep your channel open of being a conduit to give what you're fortunate to receive, trust me, the conduit gets used a lot more and a lot more comes your way.
Boman, that's not just a great answer, but that's a great word. What I was asking was about your charms, but you never talked about them. And I must tell you that Boman Irani, the other one, also happens to be a friend. And I've done this mistake of twice the mistake of actually sending a message to you and he receiving it, or vice versa. So I know what it can be for the hotels who give you the cake. And I'm sure something else must be happening to him, which is thanks to you. Let's not talk about that right now, but for sure. Talking of charms, Boman, there's no question that I've always heard. Women in my office, women who I meet, everybody says, Boman, oh. And there's a sweet smile that happens. We want to show you a video of a fan of yours. No name out there, but please have a look and get embarrassed if you must. Can we play the video, please?
Okay, so I'm really nervous because I'm asked to talk about Boman Rustomjee Irani. His charm on me is so evident that every time I see him on or off screen, I get goosebumps. When he speaks, I become like Shah Rukh Khan from Mehuna. His voice is like a musical melody to me. For me, he is the king of Indian real estate industry who rules in everybody's heart with his good looks and charm. Thank you.
Okay, Boman, anything to say on this?
Dude, I mean, a big thank you to you, whoever you are. I'm so glad you made me feel super related. And if I can get a video recording of this, I'd like to share it with my wife, who may not be.
Will it be safe enough to do that? And you'll reach home well.
Thanks for that, Manish. It was really, really sweet of you.
No, not at all. In fact, Boman, moving on from that part, and that's belittling you if you will only talk about your charm. So I'm going to talk to you and I'm going to ask you, what are those 3 things that define you as a person behind the leader, the industry leader that you are? Which are you? Which are behind your suit, behind your cloak that you wear? 3 things that define you.
I don't know what really should define me, but I find happiness in success. And that success doesn't have to be mine. Okay? I'm very happy to be your wingman for whatever you wish to achieve in life, right? And I like to think of myself in that way. Like I told you, I'm all about relationships. I love people. I love people achieving their goals. I love people who may grow and keep growing, and as long as they're not rude or mean or trying to just take without giving, I feel very good about these things. And Manish, one more thing that I keep telling all my team members, and I don't know if this is right, but I'd read long back that if you have a farm, right, it's as important to have a very good neighbor's farm, because if he had crap, the pollination that took place would kind of ruin yourself as well. So I keep telling my team that whatever we know, please be transparent and share it with everybody in the industry. How does it matter, right? So I always get this that, oh, the best rates have come to us. This so-and-so company only wants to give us this rate. I say, you know what? Tell them we'll up their business 20 times and share it with 20 other developers and let them deal with them and give them the same thing, right? I don't see any harm. I think it's like I said, we are in a field where there is, according to me, no competition. The only one you need to compete with is yourself. You need to just keep getting better. And you know what? I went out to search for the perfect friend. I never found one person. Then I became the friend and I found everybody. So
Lovely.
why can't we just take these simple maxims of life and make them a reality and just live here?
Get that, Boman, completely. Let me ask a question which somebody else, in fact, from the audience has asked, but I'm just taking it up front right now. How do you deal with stress? Everybody has stress, and everybody has, to deal with it. How do you deal with stress?
So Sadhguru mentioned this. He said the very fact that you're talking about dealing with stress,
Uh-huh.
you're making you're making it a larger than life reality, right? What is stress? I mean, stress is about something happening to you. People should be ready to face the consequences of actions they've taken, sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly. And if it is only when this desire to escape that consequence comes into the minds of the people is when the stress buildup takes place. I'm saying, they say there is no greater power than facing up and accepting the truth, right? You accept the truth. You have a problem, you go out there and tell people. And on a joking side, I can tell you that, this man was not getting sleep all night. And when his wife said, what's the problem? So he said, I owe this guy a pot of gold and he's going to come collect tomorrow at 12 noon. And I'm not able to sleep because I don't have the pot of gold. So his wife says, very simple, he lives across the street, open the window, shout out and tell him, you don't have the pot of gold. There's no way he can collect tomorrow. And then you go to sleep because he's the one who's going to have the stress next day. So, Manish, I mean, you can make light of it. You can try to labor and solve it. I believe that if something is bothering you, you grab a bull by the horns. I've never been one who sidesteps it. I try telling people that the faster you face the consequence, like Swami Vivekananda had once told one of his disciples who was running away from a dog, turn around and face it and the dog will go away. I firmly believe with your desire to be able to resolve an issue, if you actually face it, solutions just come to you. They have.
Guys, I'd asked this question and I hope he got his answer. Just like you pass your stress, now you have to pass on some secrets. You know what? Tell us a secret. We know that you're a great biker and obviously you had to be from where you were born, etc. And of course, that's one of those passions that you have, and we'll talk about it a little more. But what else is a secret nobody knows about, with a talent that you have, which maybe we don't know?
I have talents. I'm surprised. I don't know. Maybe others should be telling me what talents I have, what I should do better with.
Very well.
But the one thing that I do, and I say this again to people, I have never looked back. I have never allowed the mistakes of the past to color my future. I tell people this quite honestly that, it's like an automobile. You have a big front screen and you have a small rear view mirror. That is only as a guide. You cannot allow it to kind of
overrule you.
Your life. And I think, like Percy mentioned, quite early in life, I faced a lot of, crisis. And I must say that somebody somewhere must have prayed tremendously hard for me. And, I kind of somehow managed to take it all positively. And in life, if I were to tell you how I live, I watch my own life like a movie, because everything that's going to happen is going to happen. You may be able to change some, alter it a bit, but finally, if you do not have the ability in you to take a calm, composed look at what's happening in your life, you screw it up. You will just muddy it up. You want to just be there, observe it, and guide yourself through it.
Boman, you just gave me the next two questions. One, if a movie was to be made on you, which I'm sure it'll be, who would you like to cast as yourself?
Me!
Yeah.
Obviously. Me. I want to act in a movie. I keep telling my wife that. I said,
is that,
role de do.
is
I
that,
tell Boman Irani the same thing. I say, give me one small role. He says, conflict. We both share the same name. There'll be a confusion.
had I known about this, I should have got Boman on the show. And I'm sure he would have gladly agreed to. He's anyway, a lot of fun.
One of the nicest and most talented people I have met, and so humble.
Absolutely. I'm taking some sessions from him right now on script writing. So that's another thing. But what I'm hearing is that there is a talent in acting, that means, right?
I'd like to think so. बाकी तो आप कहो तो हिंदी में बोले, मराठी मध्ये बोलू शकतोय मी, गुजराती मध्ये बोलू शकू छू, and English, we've been having a conversation. So you think there's an opportunity, Manish? You want to make a movie?
Boman, this is not fair. So much talent with one guy, not happening. All of us need to get some more. But let's move on from there. You talked about adversity early in life, and I want to talk about this one a little before we move on. At 19, I believe you lost your father, right, Boman? And thereon, you were all by yourself. How has this prepared you? In probably the times of most need, you did not probably have that father figure to go to. What did you do around it? Did you learn your own lessons, or did you go to somebody else, or what happened?
Yeah, it was tough. And I guess it was tougher because he wasn't around for almost 2.5 months before he passed away. And I didn't get to, as they say, his last words or whatever he wanted to share with me. And that bothered me for a very long time. I must say, for about 6 months after he passed away, I must not have been absolutely all there. But what I realized one day is he's gone. There are people who I have to take care of, and they're still here, right? And they say when your time comes, you either stand up to it or you wither away. And I was not withering away, so I stood up to it. Then I learned that I was not the only one in life who learned, or rather who went through the school of hard knocks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said that one thing I can do is put myself out there, be available, stand up to an issue. And you know what? I never found it difficult to ask somebody if I didn't know something. And I could, even today, I think the thing I like most about nurturing, or I tell people to nurture is, it's okay to ask questions. You can ask, na se badi gali to hai nahi. No one's going to tell you more than no, right? So I always ask people questions. And I think like some people told me, I was a very likable young fellow, and they didn't have a problem talking to me. They felt comfortable around me, and they kind of, in a way, wanted to be protective about me. I don't know, whatever worked. But had I gone, or had I withered away, an entire generation that relied on me, who was older, frail, would have suffered. And I cannot take that, right? So my father passing away at that time, I can tell you was bad. But out of that bad, I'm hoping I came out well. And today I count on many people who I get my guidance from. And one of them, who's no more, I want to tell you, it was a very special relationship, was a gentleman called Mr. Noon, Ghulam Noon, an achiever, someone with a great, compass that pointed north. And I had the opportunity to meet him, and I offered him at that point in time, I was already running this business. I said, for 6 months, I will come and work with you. Your first cup of coffee in the morning and your last cup of chocolate in the night, let me just shadow you. Of course, I never got that opportunity, but every time he came to Mumbai from London, I did spend as much time as I could with him, heard as many stories from him. And then, of course, I had my lovely uncles, I had my aunts, I had good friends. I think I just want to learn from everybody, because there's so much good, all around you. You don't really need to find one school to take it all from. Yeah. I don't know if I answered you, but yeah.
Boman, in fact, I was wondering, because the presence of a father or father figure is so important in somebody's life, specifically when you're taking those crucial steps in your first job, so-called, then it becomes an important one. But I get what you did to yourself, and it's commendable.
Shall I try a Hindi movie dialogue?
Please do. In fact, that's my next question.
Uska khuda hota hai yaro.
Jiska? Sorry, say it again, please.
Jiska koi nahi, uska khuda hota hai yaro.
Wonderful. Not bad. Boman, I'm moving on to the next section, and it's the friends and family talk section, which is FNF connections. And I'm glad that we have in your family some people we already know through the screen. So what we've learned about you, your charm, it seems doesn't run only in your organization, but it runs at your home as well. And I comprehend, because of those charms, you don't get to do so many bartan dhona duties during lockdown because you get away from there. Or do you do those bartan dhona duties?
I'd love to. They don't trust me with the bartans.
You have to eat in the same ones. That's why. Probably that's a good way to get out. Okay. Boman, FNF connections. 14 years. 14 years since married?
You want me to be precise? 13 years, 9 months, and whatever days counting.
That's not
No,
precise.
I'm just joking. Yeah. You're going to get me into trouble with my wife, that's for sure, Manish.
That was one of the exact reasons why I got you here. That was exactly the reason I wanted. But yeah, jokes apart. Coming back again. You married somebody who's a public figure herself. How did you meet Perizad? Was it love at first sight or was it love at first view because you were watching a movie or something like that? And what happened after that? Tell us the story. Come on.
No, forget the story. But I'll tell you, I'm very fortunate. Like I said, luck plays a very important part in everybody's life. I met a person more established, a better human being, someone who puts in a lot more effort into everything she does, and someone who touches the lives of people in a fantastic way, which they, I would say, can never forget. You meet Perizad once, you're going to remember her forever. And I've seen this with her, people who we've interacted with, whether I've gone, abroad and they've met her just once. If I ever speak to them a second time, or after 5 years also, the first question when they get a chance, they ask me is, how is your lovely wife, Perizad? And, it is so amazing. She is just brilliant, just brilliant.
I do know of her, and in spite of being in the celebrity business, somehow I've not met her. But here is something that she has to say for you. So let's get that on.
So how do you describe a man you've been married to for the last 13 years? A man who's pretty much swept you off your feet, and a man who continues to kind of love and surprise you every single day. I'm talking about Boman, my husband, my partner, my best friend, my mentor, my teacher, my guru. I call him my master Shifu. Because like the big fat panda, he's always been someone who's nurtured my every dream and supported me to live life to its fullest. And that's Boman for you. He kind of enriches and empowers everyone around him. So whether it's his wife, whether it's his children, whether it's his team members, he's big on kind of empowering people and allowing them to grow, to flourish. He's an incredible father. He's disciplined when it comes to exercise and eating, but he's not obsessed about the studies bit. That's where I kind of take control. But we hit a wonderful balance, a balance of love, respect, togetherness, companionship, and it's such a pleasure to be around a man who inspires you, and he keeps you going, and he keeps your soul alive, and that's Boman for you in a nutshell. And I think it's not just me who feels like that about him, it's everyone whose lives he's touched. Boman, we all love you.
We all love you, Boman.
You know what is most remarkable about her?
Please.
In this entire show, people will forget about me and only remember her. And I love it. I love it. I'm not joking. I love it. And what is even more remarkable is, if you observe, she was wearing a Zorabin shirt out there. So she's got no qualms about dressing up like everybody in her office, following all the rules. And she's built a fantastic business. And while she says I am her master Shifu, that is, whenever I talk, she kind of counters, argues, etc. But she's always kind of picking up, on things. I think that is remarkable.
Talking of arguments, since you both speak so well, who wins them?
Hey, Manish, you don't even have to ask such stupid questions. Kya baat kar raha hai? The wife is always right. You start off, in my house, see, very simple rule, okay? I decide all the big things. She decides all the smaller things. What are the big things? Who should be the prime minister of the country? Whether we should go to war with China? What is Trump's administration? What are the small things? Where are we going to go for our holidays? What should the house look like? Who can come and who can't? I mean, we that's how it works, yeah?
You never get stressed, That's the big part. Very good. Excellent. But I'm glad, she was gloating and she was like, when we took this video on and we could realize so much happiness out there, and touch wood for that. Let me move on from her to the children. How being the father of Zaha and Zayan different from being the head of the organization, Rustomjee? Is there any difference, or do you put them in a conference room as well?
Yeah, my kids. Let me tell you, when you come to the office, people wait to listen to you. When you go home, you got to listen to your kids, right? And it's funny that we are a generation that listened to our parents. So we were conditioned to be, you know, in a way compliant. And we listen to our kids because they've also trained us to be compliant. So quite honestly, my kids, I'm very blessed. But the one thing that I'd like to say out here is, you know, Farizad and I have our biggest arguments or
Arguments you lose, conflict maybe.
yeah, whatever words you want to use, about what the kids should do and shouldn't do. While she's academically totally on the ball, she wants them to be kind of out there. Because of the background I've had, I keep telling her, you know what, first let them fall, let them fail. So even when they were taught, you know, just learning how to walk, she used to be so protective. And I used to be very happy when they fell. Because only when you fall or only when you fail will you learn how to succeed. And so we have our biggest fights over there, or lose conflict, whatever you want to call it. And the second thing is, you know, my kids, touch wood, are very, very sweet, very, very nice. And that's exactly what I want them to be. I always tell them, I don't really care whether you will become someone super or not. Follow your own heart, follow your own dreams. And more importantly, be a good human being. I think all of us should, you know, just get one thing across to our, if there's one thing we pass on to our kids, it is the desire to stay a good human being, because, you know, everything else really doesn't matter. People will not care how much you know or how much you own. If they don't get comfortable around you, Manish, I mean, why would I be on this show if I was not comfortable around you? I mean, I don't care. Yeah, that's how it is. But they're lovely kids.
They look lovely. I wish I would speak to them someday, but till then, of course, and with a wife like Farizad and with a husband like with a mother like Farizad and a father like you, I guess the children have to get the best of both worlds. Fantastic, wonderful. Okay, another question: how do you balance? Do you have to balance time between work and life? I mean, work and home. I mean, I'm not talking about the days when you're working from home. I'm talking about days away from that. Do you really have to take pains to balance this out, or it automatically happens for you?
No, I'm not a very balanced guy. I'm not someone who kind of, so if this requires me, I'm fully there. So when work requires me, I'm fully there. And I'm again blessed out there to, you know, have an entire family around, the family structure, whether it's my wife, whether it's my in-laws, whether it is just my brother and, you know, his wife and, you know, my loving nephew and niece. I'm just blessed that the kids are in a very comfortable space. And there have been times when I have not seen them for, I would say, a month at a stretch. And we've been, you know, in the city because I'll come back home late, and because of my rules, they would, my desired rules, they would kind of go to sleep early, and they'd kind of wake up really early. I'd try to wake up most days, but then sometimes, you know, they'd be off to school because the school was early. And I'd pull even a Saturday and a Sunday because work required me to. And the last 100 days, like we mentioned, I have actually discovered them. I have actually learned a lot more about them. Otherwise, they were at a particular behavior around their father. Now there was this fixture in the house at all points of time. And what made it even better, I would say, for my learning about them, Manish, was that my wife worked through this entire pandemic. She's in the food supply business. She was in the, poultry business. She's actually worked harder than I would ever. And she's been out of the house from 8:30 in the morning till, let's say, 9 in the night. You know, just making sure with a very skeleton staff of hers, you know, achieving a higher target than most others could aspire to. But what really helped me was that I was the mummy and I was right there for them. And for every little thing, they used to earlier call up their mom and I used to tell them the mom's under stress. I'm your mummy. Let's talk to me. And I learned a lot about them. And it's, you know, very interesting. Your kids bring out, parts of you in their behavior. Genetics is such a beautiful thing. And you observe them. And then that's where you start realizing your shortcomings, right? How you react to situations. You can actually see, it's like a mirror. They hold a mirror in front of you. And if you learn from them, which is so important, you might actually become a better person.
Get that, Boman. Boman, just asking you for permission. Can I take 5 more minutes than the 5 o'clock deadline that we have?
Yeah, sure. No problem.
Okay, wonderful. I'll go for it then. Boman, I've asked you a lot of questions around family. Let's move on to the extended one at that, which is friends. Childhood friends, what are the top recollections? Any story, any anecdotes?
So,
who are your favorites?
Yeah, actually, when we were kids, we were blessed to have a very large family.
Uh-huh.
And, we lived in a big house. And I remember for about those 2 months of vacation time, in summer, I had this entire cousin gang that came down, and we literally lived all our waking and sleeping hours together. And I think those were beautiful memories. My school friends taught me how to be a little, how do I say this, wild, because there was a whole bunch of them from all around. It takes a community to kind of teach you so many things. But I think I made my best friends when I came into college, right? I guess I was a lot more receptive to hanging around a little more, because in school you just go to school and come back, and we never had more interaction than that. But yeah, I made my best friends in college, and I think I made a lot of friends out of the business that I'm in. I have made a lot of friends out of the businesses that I've ventured into, and I think with friends you've got to be plain lucky, and sometimes you've got to be the good friend so that you get that lucky.
And would you like to credit any of them, what they brought to the table to make you who you are today in business or personally?
Let me tell you first, okay? First, that my wife is my best friend. She just said so, I have to say
That's
it.
the right tick, but at
Yeah.
a wrong time,
But-
but that's all right.
And she's responsible for all the good that happens in my life. Okay, Manish, you
Yes.
got that clear?
Recorded, don't worry, recorded.
Yeah, no. I've had a lot of friends who are a very important part of my life. Chandresh is like a brother to me, friend to me. Very wise guy, very measured in his words, always around to control that little wild streak in me. Percy is a brother and again a friend, and I'm fortunate to have both of these. I have lots of friends, buddy, but the person that I would look up to when I got into this business is a guy called Rustomjee, and he, I mean, in his own way, has largely influenced a lot about the way we look at business. And I can say he's a friend to all of us. Dude, there are so many friends. I mean, I'll be doing disservice to anyone I don't name, so I apologize. But everyone has been so important.
Wonderful. And Boman, my team is probably resourceful, probably smart. Out of the names that you just said, we have the first name out here talking about you. Let's hear Chandresh.
I've known Boman since the last 36 years. We met way back in 1984, where we were studying together in the 11th standard. That was the first time that I met him. So there was this beach right next to our college, and in the afternoon, probably it was the first or the second day of college, and I went to the beach, and here is this smart-looking gentleman. And we got chatting, and then we figured out that there was a lot in common, and that's how we stuck together. And then since then, it's been now 36 years that I've known him. Extremely tenacious guy, assertive but not aggressive. He is humane, ambitious, fun to be around. He's an extremely genuine person. He has the well-being of people around him at heart, and he has this presence, and where he tries to take everybody together, and he has a DNA where there's genuine care and concern, and for your feelings, for your ideas, for your wants and aspirations. So I guess all in all, extremely genuine person, extremely passionate, other than real estate, of course, passionate about bikes. His love for bikes is legendary. I remember going on trips, pillion riding with him, and in those good old DSV days. Thankfully, Yassi is back on the road in the new avatar as Java. So I guess that is giving him great amount of reassurance that he was able to put together something that he had grown up with. I have known him in two different roles. In my earlier days, where we moved around and as friends, and then later on we cemented our friendship in terms of a partnership, so to say. And it is a pleasure working with Boman. Const High energy, constant flow of ideas, uh, and he has this ability to extract ideas and extract the best out of people around him. So that's what is actually getting him going. Uh, if I had to narrate some incidents in life where really in true sense, his persona really stood out. So there was this time when Yazdi was going through a difficult time, way back in 1996. This was the time just before the lockdown. And we were all young, I mean, 26, 27, or thereabouts. And then there was this idea of, there was this piece of real estate that we had in Daisar. And there was the thought process that what exactly should we do about it. I remember he took great amount of pains to actually figure out before entering real estate what this business was all about. Met so many people, friends, associates, architects, lawyers. I guess the way he went about doing this, I think kudos to having done that at a very early age. And all that is now panning out in terms of the kind of work that Rustomjee is doing, and the role that Boman is playing, a wider role that he's playing in terms of shaping the future of the industry. So all the best to you, Boman. It's always been a pleasure working and interacting with you. Thank you.
Wow, that was a long one, and that was a very, very heartfelt one. Boman,
He's so controlled, so thoughtful. He goes through everything. He doesn't leave out one aspect. And you see me, I go rambling all the time, huh?
no, you don't. But at the same time, amazing. What camaraderie out there. Fantastic. Boman, you know what? We need to move on to the next section. There is so much to ask you, but you have little time. And let me quickly check with Farhan, my CEO Clay. Farhan, can you just pose 2 quick questions without much ado to Boman, which have come from the audience? The rest of them, Boman, may I request you to answer at leisure on our Facebook page? Is that all right?
Sure.
Okay, 2 of them, please.
Boman, a girl called Mansi, she wants to ask one question, which says, what's the most weird message, compliment you've got from any female colleague or fan?
Boman, I didn't plan this. This happened.
Most weird compliment. Oh. Well, girls don't come up and give compliments to me. That's a problem.
Okay, let's go. Next.
Okay, the second one is, what is the secret for your fitness? This question comes from Ankita.
So quite easily I can tell you it's genetics. Of course, I want to say I'm blessed with great genetics. But also the fact that quite early in life I took to a very active form of martial arts. And I thoroughly, at that point of time, used to kind of find my stress management, whatever, relief, coming out of being able to kind of, be put through the rigor of karate. And there was a trainer, of course, earlier than that was judo, but the longest spell that I've had is with karate. And Parvez Mistry was the class that I joined, and there I met Jagdish Chawda, and we've been at it for so many years. He makes it a point to still come home and train with me, and and now I've started doing yoga. And as you grow older, you try and find different things to kind of keep you fit. And I've always enjoyed it. But I tell you this: that if you watch what goes in your mouth, like you should watch what comes out of your mouth. You 80% of your battle is won. The rest is just 20% of keeping yourself healthy. And I think it's very important to do what is relevant to keep you healthy, rather than just get a lean or a muscular body. Because in the long run, you're not going to be flexing your muscles every day. But good health, man, it's just blessing. I wish everybody good health and prosperity. Actually.
You're reiterating what Sanjeev Kapoor once told me. He said, even if you're having junk food, have it made at home and it'll be all right. So I guess all of us at least have, gained from this lockdown. One of the things we've gained is that we've had home food. So that's great. Thank you so much. I'm going to ask you one more question that came from Bhavnish Mathur. Sorry, Pran, adding one more. This is slightly more official. So he says that you've done so many good projects out here in Mumbai. Are you going out of Mumbai to the rest of India anytime soon for people to experience the Rustomjee quality or no?
You know, I'd like to.
Okay.
To say it in short, I'd like to. But real estate is a very local subject, right? If I don't know if I have to use Google Maps to get somewhere, then I should not be in that city. I should be able to feel that city. I should be able to feel that place and understand it. And at Rustomjee, I can tell you this: we've been very customer research focused. So I'm sure there are leaders in my team who will one fine day take Rustomjee beyond just the MMR area. But I might not be the guy. I might not be the one who will spearhead that change. It will come from the team, and I will be the happiest to kind of accept that and move beyond our shores. And like I said, failure or success depends, but I would love to. I would love to be in 2 or 3 other cities.
Wonderful. And that leads me to the last section for today. And that's also probably the most interesting and the fastest section. It's called the rapid crossfire. Boman, ready? It's a very, very simple rapid fire question round and round. You're judged not just by the answer that you give, but how fast you give it. We'll begin easy and then we go difficult. Okay?
Go.
Let's go. Scotch or vodka?
Scotch.
Wonderful. Dansak or ravioli?
Dansak.
Pajamas or jackets?
Pajamas.
I'm glad it's not pajamas with jackets like these days. It is. You're an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm an introvert, but nobody believes that.
No, that's all right. I completely understand. A lot of introverts are pushed to become extroverts just for the role that they're playing. So I understand that part. Quick successor choice if you're to make today.
Sorry?
If you're to make a successor choice, who will that be today?
The most capable person, I guess. I don't know. There's no names.
Okay, I believe I got you there, but I'll move on. Retirement plan, when?
And the day I die. Plenty of time to sleep when we are dead.
Okay.
I ain't hanging up my boots, my friend. No.
Fantastic. Love that. Absolutely love that. I've asked this question before. I'm going to repeat this with you. Who would you rather be irritable with, kids or wife?
Oh, neither nor, buddy. Neither nor. I'll go into my room and be irritable with myself, but neither nor.
As you said, that's what comes out of the mouth.
Yeah, just be very careful, buddy.
Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Oh, I both. And I burn the candle at both ends. I just want to repeat what I said earlier. There's plenty of time to sleep when we are dead. So I want to live my life fully, completely.
Yeah. I think Perizad also said that. You're an 18 to 24-hour man.
Yeah, I love it.
You sleep when you have to.
Yeah.
Okay. Bike or car?
What kind of stupid question? Bike. Java, always.
All stupid questions belong to my team. All great questions belong to you. If you are not in real estate, what would you be doing?
TV anchor.
Nice. Very good. That's the talent I was talking about. So I got it here. Very good. Web series or movies?
Movies. Action. Senseless.
Okay. Work from home, work from office?
Work from home.
Okay. Lovely. First amongst equals, your kids, Zaha or Zayan?
Are you crazy? They both are like my eyes. There's no one more and one less.
Okay, I give it to you. I'm not going to push you on that one. Outcome or efforts?
Effort.
Okay, great. Board games or outdoor ones?
Outdoor.
Okay. You need training on mind or muscle?
Muscle.
Okay. Mind you're yourself good enough, right?
I don't know. Just felt that's easier to be seen than to be heard or understood.
Got it. Beach or mountains?
As of right now, both are good. But normally I'd love a beach. Yeah.
Yeah. The only mountain you climb these days is the staircase. I understand that. Old Hindi songs, new age beats?
Both. I just love all kinds of music. The old ones because they have so many beautiful words, and the new ones because they've got that dumb in them.
Get that. Quick getaway. Goa or Lonavala?
Goa.
Okay. Favorite heroine beyond your wife?
Favorite heroine?
Yes. Favorite female actor beyond your.
Angelina Jolie. All-time favorite.
Okay. Closer home. सोचो बोलो घर आपको भी जाना है
नहीं जाने देना यार हो गया
okay get away there superior construction but late delivery or good construction but timely delivery
good construction and timely delivery of course
okay lockdown for 10 days with team strategy or team family okay your favorite architectural benchmark
you mean as in a city country or just a monument
anything that comes to your mind
you know I'm very impressed by old world architecture because that was real architecture meant to please people so whenever I go to any of these cathedrals I enjoy it whenever I visit any of the old Indian temples I enjoy it you know there is so much of meaning in the way they were made
okay and the last one of that did you love clay dialogues or did you love clay dialogues
I'll come again if you call me, for sure.
Thank you so much. And I'll keep that for sure as a trump with me. And with this, Boman, we will come to an end of the third episode of Play Dialogues. And I'm glad this was with none other than you. We've had some wonderful industry names coming up in weeks to come. And I'm proud to announce actually that we have the most respected name in the industry following you after this, Boman. Mr. Niranjan Hiranandani, Chairman Managing Director of Hiranandani Constructions, is our next guest. Next week, Saturday at 4. Those of you who know Niranjan would obviously know that his voice stands for the industry.
Can I just say this, Manish? He's one of those that we held in, you know, as a guru when we got into real estate. I mean, the man is just
amazing, and he goes on and on and on. Absolutely wonderful. Yes, he is the voice of the industry, and his voice are the beautiful constructions he's done actually to make Mumbai look comparable even to Singapore. A leader in every sense for us. Niranjan Hiranandani is the next, ladies and gentlemen, you can look up to meeting. So join us once again next week with him. For now, let's say a bye to our lovely guest, the ever so charming and the wonderful Boman Rustom Irani. Lovely meeting you on this forum,
Boman.
Thanks,
guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see the video, please. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. I think we'll have the closing video now. And we see you next week, Saturday, 4 o'clock with Niranjan Hiranand.